So what we're talking about now is finding the feeling. So everything that we have been doing from day one in the academy, working with the roadmap of actualization, collaborating with it, is we have been learning to find feeling. Well, where do you find feeling? In the present moment. So that's where all the checking in came in. How do we connect to the feeling of things outside of us and inside of us? That is by placing our attention on it. And that's the tricks of attention. So we are also, this entire time, been training to tune in to certain feelings. And feelings are in fact just modulation. It is a vibrational frequency because the entire universe can be described as a frequency and vibration. We know that. And a feeling is what we're sensing, what's coming from that modulation or that shift in vibrational frequency. I like the word modulation, so I've been using that word a lot. So it's a modulation in the vibrational frequency. And that modulation we're able to sense as a feeling. So what we're learning to do is, first of all, find the feeling of inner peace, because that's our background underlining feeling. There's always the blue sky that is, behind the stormy clouds. And there's always the perfectly still water on the bottom of the ocean, despite the hurricane, raging on the top. So we're learning to find feeling. And there are so many layers of the type of feeling that I'm talking about. So it can be gratitude, of course, and love, but there's degrees. There's different flavors of it, if you will, that we're able to sense into. So we're able to sense into all the different flavors of life, the different layers of perception that are just different feelings. They all have a different something to them. And we never know. Maybe we're experiencing a brand new, totally unique feeling that no human being since the human being history began has ever felt. That's possible. Of course, we can never know. We can never really know because we can't, by any stretch of the imagination, sense into every single person who's ever existed, experience, to be sure. So there's no point in really worrying too much about originality as far as that's concerned. But it's original to us, and that's all that really matters. So we learn to modulate our frequency into certain types of feelings more and more often. So it's those moments where just out of nowhere you look across the room and you see a little bit of contrast in the light and darkness. The room looks a little bit different. The light's coming maybe through stained glass windows, and the light is being bent just a little bit differently, and you're able to get a certain feeling from that. Night out with friends, the sounds of clinking glasses, having this full glass of wine that you're, doing your cheers to, or whatever people do with drinks these days. I don't know. So it's those moments that we feel into. It's a feeling. It's always a modulation and a feeling. And what we learn to do in the academy from the very beginning is sense into the feeling of peace. And then from peace, we can start to choose different feelings, different modulations of the vibrational frequency so that we can maximize our experience and change our perception of reality. We change the construct because it's no longer being fabricated with thoughts and words and dialogue and concept. Feeling doesn't need that. We can feel into a beautiful sunset, the eyes of a lover. We can feel into something that we have done and accomplished and feel, confident and a lot of appreciation for having done something, achieved something that we set our mind to. All kinds of feelings. And that's the ticket. So that's what we're really leading into, is how do we tune into feeling and get out of all of the thinking mind, which is actually perpetuating emotion, which also has a feeling. And usually that emotion doesn't feel very good, or it's not lasting. So we can choose it when we want to, such as happiness. We can choose everything that is necessary to create happiness. But even if we can't, that's okay. Because in that moment we have peace. When you're facing a tragedy, you may not be able to instantly manifest happiness. Maybe somebody in your family has just passed away. It's not realistic to say that we're just going to manifest happiness. In fact, that might be quite inappropriate during that time to try to manifest happiness. But we always have our background of peace. And from peace, we can find the joy and the edge of everything that is in itself beautiful.